All right, friends, what do we have in store for you today? Well, today is our mid-tier price point bow. So this is it's not your entry-level stuff, it's your mid-level price bows. Has some features, maybe a little bit nicer than the real entry-level stuff, but it's not feature-packed, and it's cost detrimental as a flagship bow. So this is for all you guys that don't want yesterday's technology for tomorrow's prices, where you got to remortgage your house and take out of your kids' college fund to get it into your next bow. This is going to be a quick review of those mid-level bows for you. So here's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to have the Mission Range, the Bowtech Ascend, the Darton Consequence 31, the Hoyt Enduro, and the Bear Adapt Plus. Now, I was hoping to have the Bear Adapt HP, the new twin cam version, but the shop didn't have it yet. So we're going to bring back the 2 Plus that was brought out last year, because the package deal is still pretty much the same. It's just the new bow is a twin cam, or dual cam. So the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be debuting the Hamskea R7 rest, and it's a fantastic new rest. It's got a lot of new features on it that I really like. Some of the things that I would have criticized Hamskeas in the past, they've corrected. Not that I ever submitted anything to them or they would listen to what I had to say, but it's things that I would talk to people that in my circles about, like the things I don't like about a Hamskea, and through osmosis they picked up on it, and here we are. So we're going to start off and we're going to talk about the Bowtech Ascend. All right, so we got the Bowtech Ascend first. Now this is 31 inches axle to axle. I'll go right down the line on the stats here. 6.5 inch brace height. You can adjust it from 45 to 70 pounds. It's 24.5 inches to 30 inches of draw length. And in the comfort setting, you get around 334-ish. And then in the speed setting, you can get 350. So it does have the flip disc technology the flagship bows have had probably for the last 10 years in the Bowtechs. This bow retails, MSRP is $9.99, so I don't know what your local shop's going to carry them at. That's a good chunk of money for a non-flagship bow. So what does it come with? Well, the first thing you'll notice is it has the deadlock light, and I'll have to give kudos to Bowtech on that. I do think the deadlock is probably the best tuning system for the cams, for shifting cams. It has pick rail, and as you can tell, we have the R7 on here. So the R7 is integrated on the integrated mount. You do have a fixed cable guard, which with some of these mid-level bows, you don't get a roller guard. You get a cable guard. Let's see, you got your integrated quiver holes mounted on there. You do have holes for your orbit dampener, so you could put a sidebar, mount it to the side down here. You do not have a back bushing hole. You do have an upper and lower stabilizer hole on this bow. Nice rubberized grip. I do like the Bowtech grip. That is about it for that. If you were shooting the flagship, you'd have the nicer or the deadlock. Some of them have the time lock, and they have the adjustable grips. This does not have that. But overall, it's a really nice bow. You do get a lot of integration in your pick rail and your integrated mount system for your rest. That is the Bowtech Ascend. Now we're going to move on to, all right, so this is the Darton Consequence 31. Good looking bow. And let's see, it's 31 inches axle to axle. It's got a 7-inch brace height. Draw weights from 50 to 70 pounds. It'll draw length is 26 to 31.5 inches. With a speed mod, you get 331. With a standard mod, you get 325. It MSRP's around $7.99 and weighs about 4.3 pounds. So some of the advantages to this bow. This bow has 1/4 inch draw length adjustments. It does have an integrated mount for your integrated rest. It has the flagship cam on it. It gives you the 1/4 inch draw length adjustments. 75 to 83% let off. It accepts the Darton kickstand that you see this one fitted with. What it does not have is the pick rail. It does not have the cable tuner or the cable guard tuner. It doesn't have the perfect timing, and it doesn't have the perfect tuning mechanisms in the limb pockets. So that is the Darton Consequence. Let's look over the Bear Adapt HP2 Plus. So you'll notice off the bat that this thing is outfitted because this is the way you're going to get it from the shop in this configuration. So this is the way I'm going to test it. And one of the notes I want to make before we talk about this this bow, this sight that comes on it is like $250 sight. It's all aluminum and magnesium. It's the Swift Duo by Trophy Ridge. It's a 2 vertical pin slider sight. It is very nice. But I wanted to highlight that because I thought it was important that if you're going to compare apples to apples when you go to a shop to buy something, these Trophy Ridge packages are pretty nice. And I know many people are a fan of these full contact whisker biscuit style rest. For $849, you can get $849 is the MSRP on this type setup. So the Bear Adapt HP2 Plus, and you're looking at 31 inches axle to axle, 6.5-inch brace height, 45 to 70 pounds of draw weight adjustment, 24 to 31 inch draw length adjustment, 320 feet per second is what it's rated at. It weighs 4.1 pounds. It comes $599 MSRP bare bow. And let's go over some features that you see on this one. All right, so one of the first differences in just the bow that you're going to notice is this is one of the few that has the cutouts as in like a bridge type riser. So Bear put a little bit extra into this. It comes with a pick rail. It has an integrated mount system. This is their Trophy Ridge integrated containment rest. It comes with a stabilizer that has a QD on it, and it is a single cam. I will note that of the cable guards with rollers, this is probably the nicer one because you got rollers on the cables and you got a roller on the guard itself. All right, up next is the Hoyt Enduro. So this one is a Hoyt Enduro. This is a 30-inch axle to axle, 7-inch brace height bow. It can adjust from 24 to 30 inches, and it can adjust from 35 to 70 pounds. It's 4.7 pounds physical weight, and it retails at an MSRP of $849. And it is rated at 320 feet per second IBO. Some of the advantages: you got a pick rail, you got integrated rest, you got upper and lower stabilizer hole, some bushings. You do have the integrated mount for your quiver to go on here. It has the HBX Pro cams on it, or HBX cam, I think is what they call this, which is a good cam that's proven from them for the past few years. There are no tuning features on this. Little cheap cable guard on it, and it is also the heaviest. Last but not least, the Mission Range by Matthews. I only say it that way because that's how they advertise it. It's all over the bow. The Mission Range, 31 inches, axle to axle, 7-inch brace height. It's 30 to 70 inches of draw length adjustment, and I think those are in half-inch increments. The draw weight goes 30 to 70. The draw length goes 22 to 30. IBO's at 325. MSRP $699, and the mass weight is 4 pounds, and just a touch over 4 pounds. It's like 4.06 pounds. And here's what we're gonna go over this. It is a nice looking bow. I like the geometry of the riser more so than the other bows. I think it's a nice straight riser. It should hold and shoot pretty well. Then you look at the price. So it's a $700 MSRP bow, and they give you plastic mods, plastic limb pockets, and this cheap cable guard. Although it is kind of nice because it's got rollers to slide up and down the guard. You have one stabilizer bushing. You don't have an upper and lower hole. You have no access for a back bar, and there is no any kind of integrated mounting for a quiver or anything on this bow. So you're getting a real washed down version of a bow from the Mission line in the range. On the positive, it is pretty light. I think it's the lightest in this group. The first bow we're going to shoot today is the Bowtech Ascend. And as you can tell, there's no peep on here. I'm just shooting off the string through the pin. And we're going to shoot 3 arrows, and we're going to look at the group. And we're going to do this with each of the bows to kind of determine which one we think will be. I mean, this is only 10 yards. We're indoors, so this be like an in-shop indicator of, like, if you went into a shop, how accurate you could expect this system to be, or this bow to be at the shop with you. So let's try it out. So it's a little stiff on the front end, but it is very solid hold. I will say that. It's jumpy, and you could probably, if you took that orbital dampener out and you put a side mount, a back bar on it. I think Bowtech actually makes an accessory here. You can correct me in the comments, please. I think they make a back bar that can mount it here instead of a quiver. You can do it with a back bar, but and when I show you the target, don't draw a conclusion based on the arrow in relation to the dot, because this sight isn't set up specifically for this bow, nor is it going to be set up for any of the other ones. So I'm going to use the same aiming point, and the arrows are going to go where they go as long as they hit the target. And then we're going to see how precise they can be to kind of determine how accurate we can make this. She got a little bit of a vibration to her on the post shot. So there's your group with the Bowtech. That is the Bowtech Ascend group. All right, so conclusion from the Bowtech Ascend. Solid little bow, kind of a high price point. The draw's a little bit stiff on the front end, and it slams into the back wall. I'm not expecting a great draw cycle out of a budget bow or a mid-tier bow, but it's not bad. But that's just what I noticed. It is packed with features. The deadlock light. Your built. It's actually machined into the riser. The pick rail. You can see that it's actually machined into the riser. The integrated mount system is bolted on. You still have 2 burger holes. You have multiple stabilizer hole options. You have your quiver integration mount option. You got your flip disc, so you get performance and comfort. 1/2 inch increment draw length adjustment. It's a super nice bow. Like I said, it was a little bit jumpy on the back. On the back wall, it's very solid, and it comes off that back wall really quick, and you can feel it jump in your hand. So you'd probably need a decent stabilizer on this thing, but I thought it was a great performing bow, and as you can see, without a peep in it, I was able to hold a really good group, and I think you would be really happy with it if this is the bow you chose to go with. All right, next up on the docket is the Hoyt Enduro. That thing comes off quick. That's the first thing I noticed. The draw cycle, very, if you've shot an HBX cam, it's very familiar. It's a nice draw cycle. Very, very steady. As I was trying to aim in on the dot, very, very steady. I really like the draw, the shot experience with this bow. Wow, I just hit 2 arrows. And as you notice, I don't have a booger button on this one. That sucks. Good thing I know a guy that sells some of these. Arrows, that is. Wow. At the end, you feel a little bit of vibration. But it's, like a little bit. Let's turn you around so you can see those groups, or that group. And you can see my fletching is destroyed. I'm just turning you around. See how? There you go. There we go. Yep, so that's your Hoyt Enduro group. The Hoyt Enduro group. All right, final conclusion from the Hoyt Enduro. Solid little bow. If you like the HBX cam draw cycle, this is a very familiar bow to you. If you're thinking AX, the original AX, 29 and 32, or the RX8, this is, I own an RX8, and that's what it feels like. I love the draw cycle on this bow. As far as aiming, it just held very steady. You could shoot this bow like it is. The Bowtech that we just shot, it was a little bit shaky, and it probably showed up downrange. But that was really nice. I really enjoyed it. It was a good little bow. So, final conclusion. With your Hoyt, you get your machined-in integrated mount system for your rest. Your pick rail is bolted on, but you do have a pick rail. You have none of the new tuning features in the limb pockets that new bow has. You get a cheap little cable guard like we used to use 15 years ago on everything. You do have your integrated quiver, and you do have their integrated back bar mount. So you do have a back bar mount there. You have an upper and lower stab hole. It's a solid little bow. I think the MSRP is $849, but they did a really good job with this bow. If you're in the market, you want to get into a Hoyt, you're just not into the flagship prices, that'd be a really good direction to go. I'm really, really happy with that. All right. Next bow we're going to do is the Bear Adapt 2. And I had to go get a new arrow because that Hoyt Enduro smashed one of my nocks. So this is the only single cam entry into this competition. It's got a tiny bit of sponge maybe, but it's not bad at all. It's actually pretty solid for what I remember out of single cams. And it's holding really well. It's quick. It's quicker than the 320 rating it has, for sure. It doesn't, I just don't feel like it aims as well as the Hoyt did and the Bowtech. But I could probably tweak the draw length a little bit and get it there. I think this one does half-inch draw length adjustments. Getting a little bit more used to it now. Trying to walk it on target, it's getting a little bit better. I'll tell you, the thing that'll surprise you, and I know it's got a stabilizer on it, but the jump and the vibration no worse than the two previous bows. This bear shoots really nice. I know I say that about every bow, but it's doing a really good job. All right, so that's a really respectable group down there. Here's what I'll tell you about. So there's a tiny bit of jump, and you don't really feel any vibration in this bow. And they got their stabilizer on there. But the shot experience for that bow, it's, I've shot, this is the third bow in this competition, or this demonstration review that I'm doing, and it's on par with the other two bows. The draw cycle is real light, and then there's just a peak in the middle. So if you shot the new Matthews Arc with the Z mods on it, where they say it feels like a single cam, that's what that feels like. It might be a little bit spongier on the back wall, but that would be nitpicking it because it's not that spongy at all. You saw me trying to pull into it. It shot really well. And here's a group for you. Come on. There we go. So that's your 3-arrow group. Not as good as the Hoyt. Yeah, it's pretty much as good as the Bowtech. All right, so that is the Bear Adapt 2. I think this is the 2 Plus. And this would actually come with a little quiver as well. I think it's a 4-arrow quiver it comes with. So it comes with a stabilizer with a QD. You can just, well, this one's not. Anyway, it's got a QD on it. It's just the QD's not screwed in all the way, so it's just spinning with the stabilizer. This one has an integrated containment rest. If one of these bows had a value over the rest of them, it's got to be the Bear with this Swift Duo sight on it. That is nice. You got first, second, third axis adjustments on it. It's all aluminum and magnesium. As you can tell, you got 2 pins in there, 2 up pins. Not sure if they're adjustable or not. I don't think so. You got 2 pin indicators. You got a sight tape mark area here for your indicators, and then you also have one on the wheel. So you have 2 right on the wheel right there. So you have 2 areas that you can have your yardage marked on here. You do have a mount hole here. It's probably for an integrated quiver, but you could probably also use it for a back bar. You got your 1 stabilizer hole there. You can put the upgradable, the better grip from Bear on here. Man, a solid little bow. I love the finish on here. The riser, you got bridge cutouts in it, like a higher end bow. It's nice. That's a really nice bow for the money. So anyway, that's the Bear Adapt 2. If you're interested in something like that, you definitely wouldn't be disappointed, and I wouldn't be afraid to put it up against those other 2 bows. All right, so next we're going to do the Darton, but we're going to have to do a little deconstruction on the Bowtech before we can get there. All right, so next up is the Darton Consequence 31. And you know something else that I really like? So not only is Darton giving you your flagship cams on this, I mean, you still get the little things like your timing marks on here. You can see that, you're getting your quarter inch draw length adjustments on it. You don't have their tuning capability, and you don't have a pick rail, but it's quick. And you can get the speed mods from your dealer for this thing if you're worried about how fast it goes. But I can tell you, these 434, I think. Yeah, 430 grain arrows. I mean, they got some zip to them. The target has moved every time I've shot it. I'm kind of hitting it off to the right of that dot on the bottom right hand corner, so it's kind of shifting. It feels very similar to the sequel. All your build up in the front of this thing, and it doesn't dump into the back wall. So it's got a short valley, and it just hits the back wall. It holds really nice. I will say it's not as stable as the Hoyt. I think if I had some grip tape on it, it would probably feel a little bit better. But it's shooting really well. The post shot is, it's just like the other Dartons, the sequels, and the Tritechs that I've shot. It shoots really well. It holds really well in the post shot. Just a little bit of jump, not feeling any vibration out of it. Yep, probably just ruined another arrow. What we got here, I'll zoom in. Look at the base of those arrows right there together. So, conclusion, Darton Consequence 31. I've already reviewed this bow once, and I find it to be a very amazing little bow. Although you don't have the pick rail, you don't have any tuning features on it. You do got a good cable, roller cable guard, and you have an integrated mount. You got their flagship cam, which I find to be very appealing, and it will take their bipod legs, which I like as well. So overall, fantastic bow. I liked it as well. You saw how close those arrows were. They're stacked in there pretty good. If you're in the market for one of these bows and for any of these, the Darton Consequence 31 is not going to let you down. So I got one more bow to set up, and then we're going to shoot it. It's going to be the Mission Range, and then we'll do the overall conclusion, I guess. Time to test the Mission Range. This is the most bare bones bow in this shoot-off. And setting this thing up, I'm going to tell you, it will be ugly. Watching me draw this, because it does not fit my style whatsoever. Yep. It holds really nice. There's just a slight hump before you get to the valley. Yeah, post shot is it holds really nice, and the post shot is really, really good. It's I was pretty impressed by that, because it's I didn't know how the polymer mods and the polymer limb pocket and all that would be. The rubberized grip actually doesn't feel bad. People like to criticize Matthews. It feels better than most Matthews bows. It doesn't feel like the whatever that new grip is on the arcs. It's slinging them. I'll give it that. And they're next to each other. But it is not fun to draw. It starts building up and building up and building up, and it's like when you think you got it over, then you got to get it over a hump, and then it hits the back wall. After that, it's solid. It's a solid bow. And the thing about a draw cycle is, if you like a bow, you can get used to the draw cycle over time. But that's a pretty solid group. I'll go check them out for you, because I'm not sure. There you go. All right, so conclusion on the Mission Range. Overall, pretty solid little bow. I am not a fan of the draw cycle. I'm also not a fan of the polymer or plastic components that Matthews or Mission used on this bow. I just think that if you're going to charge, I think it's around $700 MSRP. I mean, these other options, all aluminum. There's no plastic parts on any of those bows. I think Matthews could have done a better job with that. Wasn't a big fan of the draw. As you saw, it was the toughest out of all of these bows. They were all hand checked with a scale. They're all the same weight, and this one just was not fun to shoot. Like I said, there's a hump on the back end, reminded me of the arc, and I just did not care for it. But the hold, it held really well. It's bare bones. I mean, you got a burger hole. you got 2 sight holes. You got 1 stabilizer hole, and that's where it stops. You know, it's got their version of a switch. They call it an MB switch weight mod on here. So it's you know, if you're looking for a bare bones bow that has the Matthews name on it, that's what it is. It's a solid bow, but yeah, it's a solid bow. It's good. Not my favorite. It's not bad. You know, if you just got to have something with Matthews' name on it and you like the missions, it held really well and it shot a really good group. You know, here on the indoor range. So anyway, I hope you guys like this. Like, it's not a bad bow. You know, I don't want you to take it that way. Just wasn't my cup of tea. And you know, I think there's a lot of things that I think Matthews cut the corners on with this bow that they could have done better for the price that they're charging for it. But anyway, I enjoyed shooting all of these bows. I thought they did a really good job. And if you'll stay tuned, I'm going to give you the final breakdown of which one I thought was the best bow. Gave you the most bang for your buck. And yeah, final thoughts coming. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed going through all these mid-tier bows and testing them out for you. And we're going to name 2 winners. And I'm going to go with 2 winners because some bows aren't equipped the same. Some bows are really well equipped and did pretty well in the test. So I'm going to give you your most bang for your buck. And that is going to be the Bear Adapt series. For what you can go to Eastern Outfitters and get this bow for, you will not get into any of the other bows we tested equipped this way. So your best bang for your buck, the Bear Adapt 2, equipped with a Swift Duo. It does have a Whisker Biscuit style rest on it. It comes with a small stabilizer with a QD on it. It was a fantastic bow. It shot really well, held really well. You know, a little bit of jump, a little bit of vibration, but not much at all. It shot. It was very, very comparable to the higher priced, you know, bigger name bows. So that would be my most bang for your buck. The best shooter out of the group, which was clearly demonstrated by smashing arrows together, was the Hoyt Enduro. And I really enjoyed shooting this. I thought the draw cycle was the best out of the group. The hold was really great, and the arrows were going exactly where I wanted them to go. So this was, you know, if the Bear Adapt 2 was 1A, this is 1B. The honorable mention bow, I'm going to go with the Darton Consequence. It's very similar to the flagship platform the Darton offers. You get a solid roller guard, you get the BBS cam that they're putting on the sequels, you get integrated mount, your integrated mount system. Fantastic piece of equipment overall, and you couldn't go wrong with this one either. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the mid-level bows. I enjoyed putting it on for you. These are some fantastic options for people that don't want to go in and spend flagship money for a bow. And as always, go down to Eastern and take these things for a test drive with Ryan. He'll be glad to set them up for you. Great ambassador to the sport, and he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these bows. You know, if you don't know, most of your mid-level bows are the biggest sellers in the industry. More people buy these, beginner type bows, than they buy the flagship bows. And there's a reason for it, because, you know, they're no nonsense approach. They don't have all the bells and whistles, but they will flat out kill animals if that's what you want to do with them. So go down, see Ryan, and as always, God bless, shoot straight, stay safe, happy hunting, and Merry Christmas.